Soldiers are to spend another month on the streets of South Africa after the widespread unrest and looting that followed ex-President Jacob Zuma's jailing in July. In response to the violence, 25,000 troops were deployed, the biggest number since the end of the white minority rule in 1994. The numbers will now be scaled down, President Cyril Ramaphosa has announced, with 10,000 troops remaining on the streets until September. This month-long extension will cost $17 million, the president wrote in a letter to the head of the National Council of Provinces, Amos Masundo. Mr. Ramaphosa said the South African National Defence Force will work with police across the country, quote, in the prevention and combating of crime and preservation of law and order. President Joe Biden has said he stands squarely behind the U.S. exit from Afghanistan as he faces withering criticism over the Taliban's lightning conquest over the war-torn country. Quote, how many more American lives is it worth? Asked the Democratic president. He said that despite the, quote, messy pullout, there was never a good time to withdraw U.S. forces. On Sunday, the Taliban declared victory after Afghan President Ashraf Ghani fled and his government collapsed. The militants' return to rule brings an end to almost 20 years of U.S.-led coalition's presence in the country. Kabul was the last major city in Afghanistan to fall to a Taliban offensive that began months ago but accelerated in recent days as they gained control of territories, shocking many observers. New Zealand has announced a snap lockdown after a man tested positive for COVID, the first case in 6 months. The case was detected in Auckland, which will be on lockdown for a week, while the rest of the country will be in lockdown for 3 days. Authorities say they are working on the assumption that the new case was the Delta variant. Just around 20% of its population has been fully vaccinated. Coromandel, a coastal town where the infected person had visited, will be in lockdown for 7 days too. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said the toughest level 4 rules were required, closing schools, offices, and all businesses with only essential services remaining operational. Quote, I want to assure New Zealand that we have planned for this eventuality. Going hard and early has worked for us before, she said. The patient is a 58-year-old man who is believed to have been infectious since last Thursday. There are at least 23 potential sites of transmission. There was reportedly a rush at supermarkets in Auckland as locals anticipated a snap lockdown. Black Stars head coach CK Akon has dismissed assertions that there is a deliberate attempt to exclude certain players of Accra Hearts of Oak from the national team. In naming his 30-man provisional squad for the World Cup qualifiers against Ethiopia and South Africa, only Hearts of Oak goalkeeper Richard Atta and Daniel Afriye Barney made the team. The absence of players like Benjamin Afutu and Salifu Ibrahim, who are widely regarded as some of the best players from the just-ended Ghana Premier League season, has raised eyebrows among fans. However, Akon is of the opinion that the players called up for the qualifiers are the most suitable for the assignment. Ghana take on Ethiopia on September 3rd at the Cape Coast Stadium and then South Africa in Johannesburg on September 6, 2021. Former President John Dramani Mahama has called on the Ghana Athlete Association to immediately resolve its issues with medal distance athlete Martha Bisa to enable her to compete for the country again after being placed on ice for nearly 6 years. He said as an athlete with enormous potential, it was important that impediments were not put in the way of Bisa for her to put her talent at the disposal of the country, and it was his wish that her suspension by the sport's governing body was immediately lifted. The former president, who hosted the 2014 Youth Olympic gold medalist at his residence in Accra last Wednesday, expressed his regret that a 10,000 Ghana cedis reward he presented to Bisa for her exploits at the Youth Olympics in Nanjing became a contagious issue between the athletes and the GAA, as a result of which the 23-year-old had been sidelined despite making waves for Norfolk State University. The organizers of the Ghana DJ Award have announced that this year's edition of the internationally recognized event will take place on Saturday, November 27th at the Accra International Conference Center. This year's event, which is the 9th edition, has been repackaged with more exciting features and promises to become one of the biggest awards events in Ghana, the organizers told Beatwaves. Organized by Mercury Republic, the event will reward hardworking radio and mobile DJs who have contributed immensely to the growth of the entertainment industry in Ghana. The organizers have promised that this year's event will bring together the best of Ghana's international DJs to celebrate the event with music fans. Since its inception in 2013, the event has witnessed performances from African acts such as DJ Jimmy Jad, KKD, DJ Black, Shatta Wale, Sarkodie, DJ Switch Ghana, and DJ Neptune, who were honored in various categories. Last year, the event was held atop the Silver Star Tower, located at the airport city, with a limited live audience due to COVID-19 pandemic. Film director and producer Ivan Kwashiga has said that banning telenovelas outright will be difficult because owners of TV stations have invested hugely in them. He said what could be done is to put in regulations to ensure production by local filmmakers are showed during prime time. His comment is in reaction to calls by stakeholders in the movie industry for telenovelas to be banned. Mr. Kwashigan stated that owners of these stations need to reap the benefits of their investments. Thus, introducing some regulations will allow them to still show the foreign telenovelas, but give room for local films as well. The Farmhouse Productions CEO told host George Quay that showing local movies during prime time will engage Ghanaians more than the telenovelas do. He nevertheless wondered if there would be enough Ghanaian content to fill the airtime if the foreign shows were banned, adding the regulation will help create balance.